And it's time for me to say a very warm welcome to all of you that has logged on to this webinar that we are hosting today from Telenor IoT with the topic of pioneering water as a service through IoT. And I'm super happy to have Fredrik Östbye here today to help us guide us through this super interesting topic from Grundfos. Fredrik is Group Vice President and Head of FutureLab there. Myself, I'm Martin Whitlock. I'm a CTO at Telenor Connection, and I will be your host here today. But of course, it's Fredrik who's gonna do most of the talking and guide us through the journey that Grundfos has embarked upon. Before I hand over to Fredrik, just a few words from myself and from Telenor about some parts which I think Fredrik will not cover mostly in this presentation, which is about the actual technology and the connectivity of global solutions. What I do know is that Grundfos and Fredrik have ambitions that goes to several markets across the globe, and of course, when doing installations like that, it's important to have a plan for how to manage those connections on a grand scale, and also making global accessible in a convenient way. So that means that what we have been doing together with Grundfos as Telenor, we have opened up our partnership of roaming networks, which is the foundation of the connectivity that we provide, and we complement that with local access on markets which require closed markets such as China, where regulation prohibits permanent roaming. But I think that what we also, of course, work a lot with is to make the operations around this connectivity in a convenient manner for enterprises who want to bring their connected solutions globally, so that the enterprises can focus on other things, of course. I also believe that one thing that we all need to consider quite deeply when we're taking our connectivity solutions globally is to plan for the ever-changing environment that we actually live in. And we all know that we have passed through a number of generations of technologies in the past, 2G, 3G, 4G, and so on. Now, of course, 5G is coming in play as well, at least in some markets. I think this is a challenge that we always have to work together in planning properly to make sure that we have the right type of connectivity solutions at all time, and that both provides connection today, where, for instance, 2G is still the technology that provides the best coverage, but of course then moving into new technologies such as LTE-M and narrowband IoT and eventually 5G, depending on the use case that you have. And of course, we are happy to help you through that journey and guide you properly on that way. Plan for scalability, I think, is definitely something that you should do, and something we always try to help our customers as well to understand what that means. But I think there's one thing of deploying a first solution that works in small scale in a lab or in one single market, but taking that to the level where I think many of us have at least as ambition to have large-scale deployments globally. You need to make sure that you prepare for that properly. And here, of course, the industrialization and making sure that you have right global partners, of course, is key. And also things like the hardware connectivity and all that comes in play here as well. Finally, I think maybe most importantly, actually, is to focus on what matters most. And I think that is actually the topic of today as well, because I know that Grundfos and Fredrik spend a lot of focus on what matters most to Grundfos, and that is to drive the business through the sustainability agenda that we're going to hear so much more about. But it also means for us then, Telenor, that we focus on what is most important for us, and we believe that that is to provide a solution with a value of one, as we say, being that you can, through the utilization of one SIM card, our global SIM card, get access to the networks that you require for your solutions. If that is all or some of the 190 countries that we are operating today, and depending on your need, what kind of technologies you need to have in your coverage profiles and so on. But you get that, and you get the access through one contract, one support operation center, one API, handing over the data, and of course one roadmap that we are continuously working on. So I think with those brief introduction words, I think that we are really looking forward to hear Fredrik as well to describe what this means from Grundfos perspective. So welcome, Fredrik.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for taking the time to listen in to us today. I will share our story about how we move from selling pumps to delivering water as a service enabled by the new technologies, among them IoT. So we strongly believe that after the digital revolution, or maybe enabled by the digital revolution, there will be a new revolution coming, and that's the sustainability revolution, and the companies who really position themselves there and take the advantage will be the winners of the future. So we made it very clear in our strategy that we deployed recently here that we have a purpose now to make sure that to pioneer solutions to the world's water and climate challenges and improve quality of life for people. And as you can see to the left here, this is really enabled by the digitalization and us moving more into water solutions. So having a strong purpose means a lot for a company like us that drives the ambition of all the people working here. We are 19,000 people. So we have targeted 2 out of the 17 SDG goals here, and that is number 6 and number 13, making sure that everyone has access to clean water. There are 2.1 billion people out there today that lack access to safe water in their homes, and that is of course a large market opportunity for us. There are, in the area of SDG 13, not less than 40% of the global energy consumption comes from building, and this is also a very big market segment for us. We are delivering our pumps to all the commercial buildings out there. Each building contains hundreds of pumps, and with the new technologies we can do smarter solutions here. We are also very active in the water utility space, where the problem today is that no less than 30% of the water that we humans produce actually leaks out in the networks we have built to distribute this water. And again, here, Internet of Things and artificial intelligence and so on can make us deliver smarter solutions to reduce this waste. And finally, we are also very big in the industry segment with our solutions, and here 70% of the withdrawal from freshwater resources comes from producing the food that we eat. And also here, technology can help us do a lot of improvements on how to use this water smarter. So a lot of good problems in the market segments that we are active in. So we decided back in 2017 to execute a digital transformation, and that's when I joined the company to lead this transformation. We put up 4 targets, 4 focus areas for our transformation to be more relevant in our customer dialogues and relations, being more present online, being easier to do business with, connecting our products to internet through IoT and utilizing artificial intelligence and optimization to create solutions for our customers, move into new business models enabled by those connected products, and then finally also digitize our value chain. So we have a smart manufacturing setup in our 20 factories around the world. What we did, which was very successful when we launched our transformation, was to say it's not the new versus the old. It's our strong core capabilities now upgraded with digital capabilities, forming the new core of Grundfos, a core that is capable of both developing and bringing to market a combination of physical and digital offerings. This was very important statement from the top of Grundfos leadership to get a buy-in to this transformation and get prioritized resources. What we did as a first thing was really to map out, okay, what kind of company is it that we think we are 5 years from now, and then look into what kind of capabilities do we need in this company to be able to get there. And then we started to build those 4 years ago. So we pointed out 5 capabilities, all coming from an increased end user centricity. So digital engineering, how can we use simulation and different digital tools to be smarter in how we innovate around our offerings? How can we implement Internet of Things and artificial intelligence embedded in our products? How can we utilize all the data in data analytics to analyze and create value for our customers and end users? How can we position ourselves in the emerging digital ecosystems, and how can we create partnerships with smaller companies to increase content value of what we offer to our customers? How can we go to market with these new digital offerings, because they are different from our traditional physical products. They are targeting the end users and are maybe not in the same need of channel partners as our traditional physical products. And finally, how do we deliver things as a service? 5 capabilities that we started to map up and started to build back then. So from a strategic perspective, we have done a lot of innovation in the pump segment during the years, the 75 years we have been around. We invented the pump back then. We were the first one putting an electric motor on the pump, and we were also the first ones embedding electronics in the pump in the 90s. Now we are taking the step to turn our pumps into IoT sensors, so that they can also capture a lot of data from the surroundings they are installed in. And as you can see, one of our product managers here he's saying that our next product is an IoT sensor that also can move water. So that says a little bit how Grundfos is transforming from the traditional pump mindset to the new IoT digital mindset. The good thing with IoT here is that we can also get the network effect from all the hundreds of pumps installed in a building or a factory or in a water utility, to see how are the pumps behaving in a holistic perspective. How can we optimize? And now all of a sudden we can start creating new offerings to our customers. Dear customer, we can now help you distribute your water more on demand. So you do not need to have full pressure constantly year round 24/7, resulting in higher energy consumption and more leakages. We can also help them locate leakages in the network, because we can see what pumps are operating and how. And we can help, of course, then to reduce the energy consumption, which pays straight into our SDG 13 ambitions. Peak shave the electricity going into a city, and monitor the condition of equipment and do predictive maintenance. So these are just some of the use cases that we all of a sudden can tap into. We call these offerings for digital commercial offerings. Dear customer, we now have a tool for you that you can use to optimize your operations, because remember that all our customers are also going through their digital transformations, and they need digital tools to be more efficient. So now we can deliver those tools, which makes us able to charge new recurring revenues. We can also use these tools ourselves when we move into new business models. Who would dare to deliver a product as a service if you do not have it monitored constantly, so you know when it's about to break? So we are moving into new business models, both the product as a service. Dear customer, you do not have to buy this pump anymore. You can buy it as a service from us. And we then take full responsibility for the operations, the maintenance, and the energy efficiency of this. That's our problems from this day. Our wet dream and ultimate business model is, of course, water as a service. Maybe the one and only product that 100% of the end users actually need. So if we are not fucking this up, we can be around for another 75 years, hopefully. So this is where we take full responsibility for the water quality and the water presence at the customer site. To do this, as you can see, we take out the larger task from our end user. We take a larger responsibility, and we could never do that fully on our own. We need an ecosystem to help us provide these kind of services. So that's why we also invest a lot in understanding what is the emerging digital ecosystems around our world. And just to think about an ecosystem, it is truly where someone is the strong driver and having contributors contributing into a solution that is better than the components by themselves. So from our perspective, we have created a smart pump ecosystem where we have Telenor, for instance, for the IoT connectivity. We have Microsoft for the IoT platform, and other players to enable our hardware and so on to be connected. But that is nothing else than a contributor into a smart pump room in a smart building. The same goes in the water utilities, where our smart pump is a smart component contributing into the smart pumping station in the smart water network. So you really have to understand what are your positions in these emerging digital ecosystems, and this is all ultimately playing up in the smart city ecosystem, where all the infrastructures are meeting to contribute into a more sustainable city. And this is what the big players are doing right now. They are building these city brains, as they call it. This is, for example, the Alibaba smart city brain in China, where we then have taken the position to be the smart water player to help Alibaba to deliver a full-fledged ecosystem to the cities of China, where we take responsibility of the water systems in the city, together with our customers, the water utilities. So that's why we were very early in to take positions, both in this case with Alibaba in China, and here it was very important, as Martin mentioned, to get connectivity that works inside China, which we could get help from our partner to do here. We also positioned ourselves with Siemens strategically because they are super big in industries and buildings and so on, also moving into cities. So it's important for us to be their player for smart water solutions, because if we are not, someone else will be, and our traditional go-to-market methodology will be disrupted. But as I said, it's also important to team up with smaller players. Big players tend to think that they can do everything themselves. In digital, it's very important to be fast and take positions with content. So that's why we teamed up in this case with Baseform from Portugal, a startup with a very competent solution for smart water network monitoring and controlling. We also teamed up with Augury for smart pump monitoring, predictive maintenance, machine health, so we can help our customers to run their assets longer, and ourselves to take our new business models into play, water as a service and product as a service. During our 3 years of the transformation, we built up 2 digital development centers. We built up all these capabilities that I mentioned, and today we have more than 200 people distributed in those development centers in Denmark and China to fully spend their times on developing digital offerings. So a big shift in Grundfos during those years. And I will now show you a little bit what are we doing now with these technologies, and this is a video that I will show that shows how we are using IoT to one of our core products, connecting it to the end users in Africa. Remember that in those countries, most end users, they already have smartphones. They have leapfrogged that thanks to the telecom operators. So what we are doing here is that we are engaging with the end users, enabling them to use their smartphones to go to public standpoints. What you can see in the background here is our ACTAP. It's a product that you install in cities and villages, so that people can walk up to it and buy safe water. And what you can see on the video here is a user that is creating an account in this water utility service. They are connecting it to one of the mobile payment services they have leapfrogged into. So they already have their payments going through smartphones instead of using credit cards and so on. And then they can connect to the water dispenser to actually buy water through their smartphone, taking directly from their account. So now they start the water dispenser here to actually fill up their water container and then walk back home with the water they have purchased. And this payment solution is then an enabler for us to help our end users, the water utilities and the customers, to get access to safe water in a much smoother way through our offerings, all enabled by IoT. So that was to round it off with a practical example of what we are providing our customers with.
Excellent. Thank you, Fredrik, for that. I'm sure that it was not only me who is fascinated by what you're achieving here, and not only, of course, from a technology and IoT perspective, which is a great use case, but I think it's always even more interesting when you can see that the technology come to really good use as well for the society. So double up there, really good. Excellent. Thank you so much, Fredrik. I think that it was a really good session. If you're interested as a visitor here to read up more, there's actually a customer case study that we have been producing as well on our website, linked to this case. You can use your smartphone to scan the QR code here to get the link to that one. And hopefully find some more information. And if that is still not enough, I'm sure that both Fredrik, like myself, are happy to have you contacting us for additional questions or topics or partnerships or whatever it is that you are seeing. Any final words from you, Fredrik?
No, just reach out if you want any tips or tricks for your work. I'm always happy to share.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And with that, I wish you all a great day.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, everyone.